What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, Brother Saeed. Today is Thursday, the ninth. And what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna talk with the host of the Connect Forum, Miss Camilla Carter. Um, Miss Camilla Carter. And our last conversation we had was about the disconnect of Black America. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to go into what we got coming up next weekend, which is a conversation about colorism. So I'll bring her on. And we had chatted up for a few. And if you're out there, if you're paying looking, just hit your friends up, tell them to connect with us and be part of this conversation. All right, here we go. How you doing, Miss Carter? I need your audio.
Sorry. Hi, how are
Okay,
you?
we good. So listen, this once again, this is your main man, Brother Saeed. I am the creator of the Connect, the Disconnect, and Camilla Carter is the host of the Disconnect. And we're just going to chat a little bit. And I need for people. I have to start introducing my hosts when I do these things. I put them together, and I don't really give the host a chance to, let's tell us a little bit about who they are. But I'll let her tell a little bit about who she is. Then we're going to go back a week and talk about the forum, the disconnect, and then we're going to move forward and talk a little bit about our next forum is colorism. So introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, yes. I'm Camillia Carter. I'm in Greensboro as well. I'm from New York, Niagara Falls, New York. I've been in Greensboro for a little bit over a decade here. What I do aside from my 9 to 5 is I have a company called Start to Launch, and I help companies with their organizational skills, getting them from start to launch per project. So that's what I do. I love empowering our people so that we can be greater. So when Saeed asked me to host, I thought absolutely it definitely fits me. So there you go.
Okay, so let's go. We're going to go back to last 2 weeks. Well, no, actually, it's about a month ago. I do them like the third week each month. We had a conversation called the disconnect of Black America, which turned out to be a great conversation. We had some good people on the panel. Your daughter, she did just a great job. She's very knowledgeable, and I'm glad that she was part of what we was doing. So during that conversation, we had of the disconnect of Black America. What did you get from that, and do you think that people feel that way, across the board?
I think I think that because there was different topics that we had within dispelling the disconnect, like that touched on different things. I think your perspective will come from your environment, how you were raised, what your experiences are, because not all of us experience the same things as African Americans. So, some of us are disconnected from our culture, some of us are not. So it just depends on who you are, what you've been through. I thought that it was interesting, mainly hearing the differences between the older generation and the younger generation. Just the huge gap there. It was just so true of just expectations and what they both want. That
Right.
was really interesting.
But the best thing about that was, the young people that we had on the panel was your daughter, and tell me your daughter's name again, 'cause I keep forgetting it.
Niobe.
Naomi, and we have brother Hassan Along on there. But the best thing about them being on the panel, they really was like reaching out to us and saying that, it's not that we don't want to connect with y'all. Y'all don't approach us in a way to make
Right.
us feel like we know what we're talking about, or y'all don't
Mhm.
give us the respect, the same respect that y'all want from us. So it's
Mhm.
not like we don't want to be part of your conversation. Y'all just don't allow us to be part of these conversations. And if you do let us be part of these conversations, our conversation has is like voided. It doesn't mean nothing to y'all.
Right. Right. That's true because a lot of the older generation, they have the mindset. Some of them still has sit down and be quiet mentality. And that caused a lot of trauma in previous generations. Sit down, be quiet, don't say nothing, like you don't have a voice. But this generation is all about voice. It's look at what happened during George Floyd and all these things and protests and stuff on TikTok or whatnot. They have a voice. And so I think if they can do it respectively, that's the key, then why not?
Yeah, but I also think that if, with them doing it respectfully, like we had in that forum, we have to come off the same way,
Hmm.
and like I was saying, in that forum that my relationship with young people is I say is good because I give them the opportunity through film, theater, through conversation. I give them the opportunity to educate us on what their feelings are, or what their needs are, and what their thoughts are about. So,
Hmm.
but overall, I think the forum was good. I think the
Yeah.
people that showed up got something out of it, and but but it was it was interesting because the people that came, they shared their viewpoints, and it was kind of like they were saying we need to just put down our guns and put down our weapons and put down our guards and have this
Hmm.
conversation where we can come to some type of an agreement,
Right.
you know and and
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna let you speak at this, but the best thing about it is even when we kind of got on the church thing, nobody like because when you bring up religion, everybody want to bash. It wasn't even about bashing. It was about that they need to be part of the same conversation we're having right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Religion is a touchy subject, just in general, because it's just different viewpoints. It's emotional. And I wanted to keep preferably the religion out of the conversation
right,
because as African Americans, we get so emotional. We're emotional. We're an emotional culture. We are. And I wanted to keep it out because I didn't want the emotions. I wanted logic in the
right,
room.
right.
So I
But
was
like,
like, let's talk about.
but I think overall though it went well.
It
Even we
did.
brought that up. So look, we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna touch on the conversation we're going to have next week about colorism. And if people don't know what colorism really is that how people look at darker skinned people in a
Hmm.
negative way. I'll keep it simple like that.
Right.
You know,
True.
so what I'm going to do is, and this is how I'm going to open this conversation up. In the world of cosmetology and cosmetics, when I see light skinned people with makeup on, they tries to darken themselves up a little bit.
That's true.
And
Or
then,
at,
right, but then when I see darker skinned people with the makeup, they try to lighten themselves up a little bit. Unless,
well,
unless they more or less Afrocentric, because their
right.
makeup, you feel what I'm saying? So,
Not as much because that's my field too. I'm licensed as a natural hair
okay,
specialist.
okay, but no, only reason why I said that, only reason I said that, I'll let you finish. When I see these people, me personally, when I see people wear makeup, most people that I see that are light skin, they tend to darken their skin up. And most black people or darker people, whatever, I don't want to how to say it, they tend to like enhance their blackness, but it's not like how can I? It's not like they enhancing their blackness to make it darker. It's like their makeup is more or less like bringing out the color. Is that a good way to say it?
Well, there's so many variables with that, Saeed. So, number one, I want to touch on this. I love Rihanna, her line, Fenty, because she's the first one to come out with it was like 30, I don't know how many different shades. So that was one of the problems. Whereas you as an African American woman or person um could not really find your shade. So let's
Right,
think about that. You couldn't really find your shade. You had to mix and then try different brands. So that was just a mess. I know a lot of people who went through that. I'm kind of like in the middle. So I always had I didn't have to search as much, right? So, but like the dark skin, like darker me and up had some issues. Even lighter, there was just because you got different pigments in there. I think that back in the day, there was light skin just adding more like of a bronze look, and then the
right,
rosy cheeks, and then the dark skin women now do both of them do more contouring.
right.
It's changed. So
That-
you embrace your color, but you contour, you make, different areas a little lighter just to bring out your cheekbones. But I think that I love browns. Not that I don't like light skin, but I just love the melanin. I've always been like,
well,
I
see
just
what
love.
you're saying right now is like what you're saying right now is good, but it's like, okay, I love brown skin. I don't have an issue with lighter skin people, but
I
I
don't.
love brown skin. So where why is it that we having this conversation? It's like trying to think of the lady, she got a talk show now. She took over Wendy Williams' spot.
Um,
But
yeah.
you know what I'm talking, I can't remember her name right now, but she said there's this big issue in Hollywood now about colorism.
Yeah, it's always been an issue. Hollywood
Right,
is big.
right. So my thing is are people going to Hollywood, wanting to live an American dream, changing how they look to be accepted in Hollywood, and does that does that transfer into our communities are trying to do the same thing?
Not only our
As far as
community,
jobs, as far as jobs,
all kind of things, not only in our community but across the world. Africa, if you I've never been, but I've seen, I'm going this year, but I've seen billboards just in like commercials and different things where they had like lighter skinned people bleaching cream and things like
right,
that. So but they actually put a stop to that. They put a this last year they put a stop to that stuff. But it can impact a lot of different people. And the reason why we're having the conversation is because we know it goes back to slavery. It
right.
goes back to lighter is better, and all of that. And you got treated better because you were lighter. And then our men, you know, the light skinned girl and all of this stuff, and
Well,
it was that
well,
too.
this is like it's like anything else. They want to because I'm not dark skin. I'm like a brown skin man.
Yeah,
I never dated a white girl. You know what I mean, but I've dated light skinned girls. I done dated fair color women. I done dated dark skinned women. I don't have a preference like that. But
hmm,
but from looking at some guys that even like women do say, well, he think he the shit because he light skinned or because he got green eyes and he this and that.
I do want
We go
to.
through that too. We go through that too.
Oh, okay.
But the thing, yeah, we go through that too. Men go through that too now. But the thing about it is, just like, why is it that the darker skinned male or female, why are they the subject of this conversation, and it's not light skinned people? That's we gear this conversation towards as well.
That's a good point, because I feel like light skinned people, not all, I can't speak for all, but a good majority of them might exclude themselves because they feel like they don't have to talk about it because they have maybe more privileges. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, if you had to choose a side and there was something going on, oh, you blacker than black.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Well,
black.
this is this like, I done had conversations with some people, doing this, over the years, light skin, dark skin, whatever. And I done have people say, well, I know I'm look good because I'm this and that. But I said at the end of the day, you black.
Right,
I said, so what you need to understand is that you're getting the privilege because of your skin complexion. I said
right,
you might be getting the privilege because you got a big booty and big breasts and somebody like looking at you. I said, but we're just objects to these people in a system that was set up to make us have an issue with each other based on that conversation.
right. To cause division. At the end of the day, you bleed like I bleed. You have emotions and feelings like I have. It's not a difference. One thing about melanin, though, this is why I said I love brown skin. To me, my experience with brown skin, darker guys is just, it's different. It's preferable for me because it's just preferable. I don't want to get too deep.
Well, I mean, it's your preference. I heard Monica say one time she broke up with this guy. He was an athlete, and Monica said that she said I broke up with him because he was in the mirror longer than I was.
Can't nobody got time for all of that.
She said, now I'm supposed to be his girl. I'm trying to look good for him,
Right.
but who he trying to look good for if he in the mirror longer than me?
Longer than her.
You know what I mean? But just stay on this thing.
Yeah.
Why do we have why we black people it's like with us, we have so many different challenges, you know
Yeah.
and we're letting this colorism thing become a more of a conversation with us because everybody want to be part of a media that allows them to shine.
Well, let me tell you this. So it's just deep rooted. It goes back to slavery. It's because I watched this video, and I'll say it really quick. It was a Mexican young man, and he was talking about his experience growing up as the darker complected. Now, to me, he wasn't dark at all, but in his culture, he was the darker of the family, and he got shunned a lot. His mom would tell him, "Don't you go outside? You come out, come you've been outside too long. You're going to get dark." That was his childhood. Don't you
Yeah,
come outside? Oh, you've been dark. You dark. Or and then when they had a baby and the baby was light, oh, you're so light. You look like an angel.
yeah.
So it's not even just African American. It's different cultures.
Oh, like I said, yeah. But this is the funny thing though, and this is what I'm. This is like whatever I'm gonna say it like this. You know, even our four. I didn't see, and I'm going into this animal thing now. Where I didn't see animals that if they come out at my nose, if they don't come out looking like the animals, and I tried, the animal was shutting them too.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying so
That's
that
true.
just tell you how deeply rooted this thing is. It deals with everything and everybody, especially with us, because one thing I say about us is that we don't know how to let shit go. For as or how for as appearance, how we look at each other, how we judge each other. I
Mhm.
don't I we there are just like you went back to Rihanna's makeup line.
Right.
There are so many different shades of black people in
It
this
really
world,
is.
in this country. Why are we having an issue with colorism? There are other things that we should be dealing with. But
Because it comes down to privilege, and
right,
it just comes down to privilege. You is some it's some wanting to feel more privileged and feeling like because they are lighter that they feel more important, they feel more valued, but that's not the case. I've never felt devalued around anybody that
right.
was lighter than me. I don't play that mess right there.
Mm-mm. Well, the thing of it is like you know when we look at each other and we look at and like I said earlier, we all have done it before. Where he or she they think they cute because of this and that. That's just a human nature in us. But when we take it to a point where we hold that against people and don't want people to move forward, that's where the issue
Yeah,
comes.
that's bad.
You
That's
see,
real bad.
that's where the issue come in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's my whole thing is what do we do? And this forum we're gonna have next week. I think it's gonna be a good forum,
Yeah.
because I want it's like I want white people to be part of this conversation because when we talk about colorism, we looking at each other about
Mhm.
how do white people look at us when they say, well, we're going to hire this person for a job, do they take that into consideration? What?
I definitely feel like they do. We all do. We definitely feel like that. I mean, we had so many issues, even down to our hair. I mean, everything about a woman, like, it wasn't until we started uniting with the Afro that there was a law put in place about work attire. It wasn't until then where we had a dress code at work. When we all unanimously, I can't even say the word, together.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we started wearing things together, then it was a dress code at work. So it's all different types of like challenges that we have. And then as an African American woman, I mean men too, but we have to deal with our hair types, not only our skin color. It's a lot of different things.
well
So
I just said it's a tough conversation to have because when we have this conversation, it's like you know I don't want to say we're it's a conversation where we're trying to um, challenge the lighter skinned person, But when I read the thing about what colorism is, it doesn't say anything about light skinned people. You know,
I
it's a
have to,
negative. Huh?
I don't know. I
I
don't.
mean, when I
Does
pulled it
it
up,
just address it just address dark skinned people?
that's what it says. I pulled it up. I pulled it up. That's why you see the page where you got colorism, you got the dark. If you see my page, if you go to my page and you see what I got on my page now, colorism is about how black darker skinned people are viewed and treated and looked at. Well, viewed, yeah. Doesn't say anything
No,
about not.
that's still
It doesn't say
that's
anything about light skinned
negative.
people.
But the funny thing is, that's very negative because the funny thing is, typically, we are not the ones causing the colorism issue. It's everybody else, mostly outside people who are lighter than us that are trying to make us feel
Yeah.
devalued. So it's funny that they put the problem on darker skinned people.
Well, like I said, hey Cassandra, what's happening? Cassandra, you can do me a favor, look up colorism and put it on my screen, and I'll share it with Camilla. But it doesn't like it. The conversation, because I was gonna go to my phone, but the conversation doesn't say colorism, light skinned people. It says colorism, da 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 da, darker
Dark
skinned
skin.
people. Yeah, that's what it says. And that's just another tool that's put in place
Yeah.
to keep us at odds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wonder how a white girl will feel or a white guy will feel if a light skinned person got a position that they thought they was going to get or was thought they should get because of who they are. I wonder how they will react to that.
That would be a good like show
Well,
to
that'll
have.
be that. Well, that's
That
why.
would be a really good show, like a
That's why I'm
Netflix,
hoping. That's why I'm hoping I get a
like
couple honest white people to come to the forum next week.
but it's like the show Undercover Boss, like you remember that, but behind
Yeah,
the scenes. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like, I mean, yeah, I have nothing against Caucasian people, like, I don't have a heaven or hell or anything to put anybody in, at the end of the day. And so, but my thing is, I feel like when they sometimes come into these conversations that they play coy, they play like they don't
no,
know
no. Well, that's
right from
well. See,
wrong.
that's not well. See, that
So
that's what they do to get more information.
no, I don't mind you getting information,
No,
but
no,
if
I'm
you
just no, no. I'm saying that's what. And I don't want to say white people, but that's what they do when they want to gather as much information from us as they can. They will act like they don't know, and they know because they didn't want to wrote the script.
yeah, or they don't know what's going on, and oh my God, I didn't know that impacted you like that. Yes, you do.
Right.
Yes, you do.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm hoping next week that I do get some white people to show up that's honest. You know what I
That'll
mean?
be good,
Yeah,
right?
because they can be like, listen, we know we do it, but that's just part of how we was taught. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Before you give this person that job, you make sure this person we can get this person that job, but
right,
you make sure the darker skinned person is the last person that y'all consider giving the job to. Because we need
right.
somebody in that front counter that that can relate that when that comes to that front counter can have a sense of how can I say, a sense of security where they don't feel threatened by this darker person.
Absolutely. And even, I mean, you can even go down to names. That's why, be careful how you name your child. And it's funny where you go to an interview and you have, say, a black man show up as John, a dark skin, and he's qualified for the position. And they're like, oh,
Right.
like, I didn't know that was you.
Right. On the
Funny.
phone, they happy you come in. Then when you come in, they look at you like, oh shit,
Right.
you know. But
Oh, we're not, though the position has been filled. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think light skinned people get a bum rap because they not like based on that the dictionary what I read that they're not part of that conversation when we talk about
The question is, do they want to be a part of the conversation? Because
I
I haven't.
I think they're happy that they ain't because this doesn't. It's like they don't have to defend themselves.
I just feel like, do they want to be a part of the conversation in general? I feel like they can get a bad rap. And I don't want to say they as if it's not us, but I feel like light skinned people can get a bad rap. Um, but I don't feel like they want to be a part of the conversation either.
Well, like I said, we'll find out next week. You
Well, make
know.
sure we have some light skinned people there and dark
That's my goal. I mean, only thing I can do is put the information like this straight up,
skin.
encourage people to show up and be part of this conversation. 'Cause these conversations like this are going to help us start
Right,
a process of working together and getting
right.
through some of the smallest things that keep us at odds with each other.
That's
I
true.
don't think in 2023 we should be having a conversation about colorism.
I don't think so
As
either.
much as and the thing about it is, as much as stuff we go through as a community, whether you light skin, dark skin, whatever skin, if you are black and the stuff that we go through as a community, within our community and outside of our community, we should not be having a conversation about light skin and dark skin people because at the end of the day, everybody to them is still black.
Right. I said at the end of the day, if you had to pick a side, say if it came to a situation, you had to pick a side where you had white people over here and black people over here. Not only is it black, it's gonna be Mexican, it's gonna be all of us with any melanin over here, light skin or not.
Okay, so I said something, but we should be doing a lot more for ourselves. But you know,
Absolutely. I think
I
so
think
too.
I think like I said, that's why we have these conversations. I think we should too. But the bottom line is, if people don't get out there and put out the effort to work on doing more, I mean, what can you say? You know, what I mean, like I said this earlier. We should not be having a conversation about light skinned people and dark skinned people, and
In
not
2023.
having a connection.
That's true.
We should not be having that conversation.
That's true.
But
But when people get comfortable and privileged, it's hard to let
and
go.
and that's what I was getting ready to say. When you talk about that color line, the blacks and the whites, now you can best believe you me that a lot of light skinned people is gonna jump over that line.
They are.
And
They're like, I
and
ain't
if
trying
I'm
to deal with
wrong,
that.
I ain't trying to deal with that. I got I got I got I got a small little piece of white privilege over here.
Right.
I'm not trying to deal with that. But
Mm-hmm.
but can you blame them?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, what line are you jumping over? You gonna have to pick, you gotta pick a side. Now you might get a little bit more privilege or something, or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, your morals and your values, then you just as bad as them if
Yeah.
you allow certain things to happen. Seriously, you are.
No,
You're just as bad as them.
I mean, I no. I listen.
And,
You
and,
know,
and that goes, and that even goes for not even just a light skinned person, like a dark skinned person too, who is choosing, what do we call it, Uncle Tom? You know what I'm saying? You choosing the opposite, not the opposite, but you're valuing. You're not really paying attention to what's going over here. You've become what's comfortable for them to deal with you, and so you shun us and you
right,
take all of their sides. So you become this prep and prim person with good intellect and dialect and all these things, so you could fit into their box, because you want all the benefits you can get.
right, right. But at the end of the day, the benefits that they hope they can get, if they only get them once they're right, small, and once they're
Is it worth
whoever whoever they dealing with, when they get tired of them, they're gonna send it back to the other side of the track.
it? Yeah, you're
You know
going
what I
back.
mean? So, but yeah, so we gonna I'm gonna move on to another subject, but we still gonna deal with stay where we at.
Okay.
Okay, now you work. I'm sure you work in a multi. I know you're a corporate person.
Yeah.
Now, have you witnessed anyone? Have you ever been part of a conversation where is you seen, you know, somebody that's qualified, lighter skin, you know, maybe nice looking male or female to get moved to a position that you know they shouldn't have got, or you like question that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen absolutely. I'm not going to say that part. I've seen people get moved up in positions when they were only on the job for 2 years and people have been there longer. And because, just to be honest, they're lighter, or not only lighter and you fit into the box, but also darker and fit into the box. Don't have a mind and don't have a brain and don't come with, they don't want you to be a problem solver. They just want you to do what they want you, what they want, especially if you're brown skin, right? Don't be a problem solver, just fit into the box. If you light skin, you get through a little quicker, but you still got to fit in the box. Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
have you ever been in a put in a position where it is they tried that with you, saying, look, we need you to do this. Can you do this? Just to see if you could do it, so they could bring somebody in to your position, or another position that was more beneficial to you financially.
No, no, I wouldn't say me personally about, and in that term, but my skill set was challenged. I think that it had something to do also with my personality, because I'm not going to take no corporate BS. I'm just going to be honest. I bring a lot to the table and they don't want you to bring a lot to the table. But the vice president, when I interviewed for another position, told me that they're not going to take one of their best people and allow them and let them go to another department. Basically, I'm not looking to take one of my good people and let them go over here. So basically, you've reached your glass ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
but you allow other people that's been at the company 2 years, 1 year, to become this and that and this, and you're like, wow.
Right.
So I've experienced it on that level. But at that point, you go through a transition internally, and
Mm-hmm.
then you start making changes. You know what it is.
Yeah, it's well, like I said, what me being in the chemical field, in the fields of it, I can't say that I've really experienced that, but I've been there for far as guys getting moved up, and I never even really looked at it like that, because most of the people that got moved up in front of me been there longer, no more. So I mean, I never really had that issue
Oh
because,
yeah.
and the thing with me, anyways, when I go to my job, I just tell them I want my job description.
Hmm.
Whatever you pay me to do, that's what I'm going to do. If you move Joe Blow, and I'm and long, so when I come and ask you a question why you moving, then get in a position, and if I'm happy with it, I keep it moving. Even if I'm not happy with it, I let them know why I'm not happy, and don't keep it moving, because we tend to let stuff get to us, and then we start saying and doing stuff that isn't beneficial to us.
Right.
You know, you know what I'm saying. So,
Absolutely. You do.
yeah. So we're gonna wrap in a few. But what I
Okay.
want to do is I want you to just give me your last last thoughts and shout out to whoever you want, just and just tell them why they should attend our forum next Saturday the 18th.
Absolutely. So I just want to shout out everybody that comes across this video, and tell your friends, tell your family, because these are the discussions that our community needs. This is where we start to heal. This is where we start to understand. This is where change take place. Change doesn't take place in the White House. We know that, right? Not as much as we want. Change takes place within our own homes, in our own communities, and we have to begin to understand and break down some of these barriers, break down some of these misunderstandings, and purposeful misunderstandings that's there, so that we can heal and we can begin to treat each other better and operate more better as a community. So definitely come out. I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm gonna close with this. If have you ever noticed you never seen a picture of NFL and NBA players' wives and girlfriends
I've never seen a picture of them. Like where?
like in a
Like,
group.
oh, never seen. I don't think I've
I,
seen a group
you,
picture.
you never seen a group picture of NBA husbands with their wives, or you ever seen a group of picture of NBA wives together or girlfriends?
Not in a group. Individually as a couple, but not in a group,
Right.
right?
And you know why they do that?
Because it's a lot of black and white and different races and
A lot
stuff.
of it's no, it's mainly black and white and light skinned women.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that and the NBA and National Football League isn't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But I just brought that up to let people know that it's designed for this for to set certain things to the side, but it's also designed for us to see certain things that keep us at odds. We talk about colorism. That's one of the things we should not be at odds about because, and I like what you said about Rihanna's. If she has to make 13, 30 different shades of makeup to satisfy us as black people, and I'm saying satisfy in a good way, we should not have a conversation about why
Right.
light skinned people or dark skinned people are going through what they're going through. So this is your main man, Brother Saeed. This is my girl Camilla Carter and the host of the Connect Forum. Come on out and see us next Saturday the 18th. It's free tickets. Go on my page, get free tickets. So and I'm gonna close with this. If you're not part of this conversation, don't go around and talk about people about this conversation because we're all trying to educate each other in a good way. And you know what I close with? Get the black mind right. Peace. Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.